Your cat might never say, I love you, but they demonstrate it daily through a covert language of physical gestures that go completely unnoticed. Those seemingly random, aloof, or nonsensical habits are actually deeply rooted psychological signals of unwavering trust. Felines only drop their guard to perform these specific micro gestures when they feel entirely secure in your presence. The surprising truth: if your cat displays just one of these habits, the biological tether between you two is exceptionally deep. Today, we are decoding the silent psychological compliments felines offer their chosen humans. Once you understand this silent language, you will never look at your cat the same way again. The first silent compliment is the art of pretending they are not observing you. Your cat might appear completely disinterested in your existence, lounging heavily on the sofa, staring out the window, or wearing an expression of absolute boredom. Yet, in the vast majority of cases, this indifference is a carefully constructed facade. Felines are apex predators, making them absolute masters of silent observation. Even when they seem disconnected, their sensory network is actively monitoring the entire environment, and you are a primary fixture within that radar. Unlike canines, who are genetically predisposed to respond immediately and enthusiastically when acknowledged, cats strategically choose when to react. If your cat merely swivels an ear independently like a satellite dish when you speak, offers a slow, half-closed glance, or simply shifts their body weight to maintain a subtle line of sight, that is a profound form of recognition. They have heard you registered your presence and deem the situation perfectly safe. In the wild, observing members of a social group without the necessity of constant active interaction is a massive indicator of environmental security. Animal behaviorists emphasize that when a cat chooses to sit with their back turned or their side exposed to you, it is a deliberate physical display of trust. They know exactly where you are, and they feel zero need to protect their vulnerable flank from you. Choosing to peacefully ignore you is actually a tremendous compliment. They are communicating that they are entirely at peace with you in their territory. The second remarkable behavior occurs when they sleep near you, specifically while facing the doorway. When your cat chooses to rest in your immediate vicinity, it is already a strong baseline indicator of trust. However, a specific physical orientation elevates this gesture into something much more profound. If your cat settles down facing the door, the hallway, or the primary access point of the room, they are not selecting that trajectory by random chance. In evolutionary biology, felines occupy a unique ecological niche. They are simultaneously formidable hunters and potential prey for larger carnivores. This duality makes them highly strategic when selecting a resting location. Sleeping while facing the entrance is the physical manifestation of the feline sentinel strategy. This is the exact posture a wild feline adopts when they feel responsible for the security of their colony or den. Even within the completely controlled environment of your modern home, that ancient survival instinct remains entirely intact. By physically positioning themselves between you and the outside world, your cat is subconsciously assuming a protective guardian role. To their predatory instincts, the environment is always dynamic and potentially compromised. Within that complex feline logic, you are recognized as a vital part of their territory that warrants active defense. It is a quiet gesture, yet it is overflowing with deeply ingrained loyalty. The third silent compliment involves seeking out your discarded clothing or shoes. It can often feel perplexing to discover your cat deeply asleep on top of your worn laundry or wedged securely inside your shoes. To human sensibilities, it seems odd, but to a cat, this is a deeply affectionate action. The feline sensory experience is overwhelmingly dictated by olfaction. Your natural, unadulterated scent represents the ultimate anchor of security and emotional comfort. Worn clothing carries the heaviest concentration of your authentic biological signature, free from the masking effects of perfumes. When your cat physically burrows into these items, they are actively surrounding themselves with the chemical markers that make them feel safest, particularly when you are not physically present in the room. It is the feline equivalent of wrapping themselves in a protective barrier of your presence. Shoes take this olfactory processing a step further. Footwear carries not only your concentrated scent, but also a complex tapestry of odors from every single location you have traversed throughout the day. To a feline's highly sophisticated olfactory receptors, your shoes are essentially a detailed environmental report of your daily routine. By smelling them and resting upon them, they are biologically connecting with your movements. Furthermore, if your cat deliberately leaves a layer of their fur on your clothing, before you leave the house, they are depositing their own physical markers, effectively mingling your scents together to declare to the outside world that you belong to their social group. The fourth deeply ingrained behavior is their insistence on following you into the bathroom. If your cat relentlessly trails you into the washroom, you must understand that this is not driven by mere curiosity. For a feline, a closed door represents a severe environmental problem. It creates a sudden, unnatural fracture in their established territory, and far more importantly, it physically separates them from a core member of their social group. From a strictly biological perspective, any enclosed space where you isolate yourself could represent a potential hazard. The bathroom, in particular, is a room filled with highly suspicious stimuli. The sound of running water, strange acoustic echoes, and unpredictable mechanical noises trigger a cat's baseline survival instincts. To their wild ancestry, the sound of rushing water can signify an unpredictable environmental shift or hidden danger. By shadowing your movement sitting attentively at your feet, or waiting right outside the door while vocalizing your cat, is executing two vital tasks simultaneously. They are conducting a welfare check to ensure you are unharmed while simultaneously maintaining visual control over a fractured piece of their territory. It is a complex mixture of familial care and territorial vigilance. While having a feline audience in the bathroom might feel invasive to a human in the language of cats, it is one of the most sincere and vulnerable compliments they can offer. They are demonstrating that your well-being is simply too important for them to allow you completely out of their line of sight. The fifth and final profound demonstration of trust is when they choose to groom themselves in your immediate presence. Cats operate on a strict biological hierarchy of needs, and they will only engage in meticulous grooming when their environmental anxiety is at absolute zero. Grooming is a critical survival mechanism that requires immense focus, but it is also a moment of extreme physical vulnerability. While they are twisting, licking, and cleaning their fur, their situational awareness drops significantly, leaving them highly exposed to potential ambush. Therefore, in a natural setting, a feline will only initiate a grooming session when they are entirely convinced that no threat exists in their immediate vicinity. When your cat willingly lies down right next to you and begins a thorough grooming routine, they are broadcasting a tremendously powerful psychological message. They trust implicitly that you will not harm them, and beyond that, they trust that your presence acts as a biological shield against any external dangers. Your proximity allows their nervous system to stand down and lower its guard. Some cats take this a step further deliberately, waiting to initiate their grooming until the exact moment you sit down beside them. This timing is completely intentional. It is their way of signaling that your arrival has secured the perimeter, allowing them to finally relax. This is one of the most intimate behavioral complements that exist within feline psychology. If your cat calmly maintains their hygiene while resting near you, they recognize you as the ultimate safe harbor in their world. If you carefully analyze all of these distinct behaviors, you will realize they all share the exact same psychological foundation: profound emotional security. None of these actions are rooted in forced obedience, anxious dependence, or a desperate need for resources. They manifest simply because your cat feels entirely stable, confident, and psychologically grounded when you are near. And in the animal kingdom, that is a rare and precious state of being. Felines do not grant this level of absolute trust easily or quickly. Observing you quietly from a distance, seeking out your concentrated scent, adopting the Sentinel strategy to guard you, Monitoring your vulnerable moments and lowering their defenses to groom these physical cues only emerge when a cat considers you an irreplaceable pillar of their inner circle. It is not mere tolerance, it is true belonging. Many people mistakenly believe that the love of a pet must be constantly visible, physically clingy, or loudly demanding. But for a cat, love is the ability to fully relax. It is the freedom from constant vigilance, the deeply internalized knowledge that their chosen human is not a threat, but the ultimate source of protection. If your feline companion exhibits one or more of these subtle behaviors, you did not earn it by accident. It was meticulously built through consistent routines, a deep respect for their physical boundaries, and daily predictability. This caliber of interspecies bond might not always be obvious to an outside observer, but it is incredibly profound for the human experiencing it. And once this psychological connection is forged, it typically endures for a lifetime. Now that you understand the complex science behind these quiet gestures, I would love to hear about the companion sharing your home. Let me know in the comments below, what is your cat's name?